Did you know that long before Dragon Ball Z hit its massive stride of popularity in the US, the original Dragon Ball series was on TV in the 80s? Harmony Gold, the company responsible for Robotech in the US, had obtained the rights to the Dragon Ball TV series and movies, seeking to bring the franchise to America. They produced an English dub of 5 episodes, as well as combining the first and third films into a movie aired on TV. This dub included the original Japanese music, including an English version of the opening theme and a dub recorded at Inner Sound Inc. in Hollywood, California.
7 magic balls, hear the dragon call, and feel the mighty magic of those sacred balls.
This once incredibly rare dub featured a radically different dub cast compared to what we know, featuring a cast of actors that fans of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers might find familiar. More interesting was that in classic old anime dub style, all the characters' names were changed. For instance, Bulma was called Lena, Yamcha was called Zadaki, and Goku was called Zero. This dub is also where the turtle hermit, Muten Roshi, got his English name, Master Roshi, which literally translates to Master. Whoops. The 5 pilot episodes were apparently test marketed on various independent networks, but the response was so lackluster that the show never took off. Several years later, a little upstart company called Funimation Productions was founded by a Japanese-American businessman named Gen Fukanaga. Fukunaga's uncle was one of the producers at Toei Animation who worked on Dragon Ball, and approached his nephew about the prospect of bringing the series to America, most likely sometime after Harmony Gold's failed attempt. After starting his company in 1994, Funimation Productions picked up the rights to Dragon Ball and began producing their own English dub of the series of the first 13 episodes and the first movie. Because Funimation was such a small company at the time, they co-produced and broadcast the series with former TV production company Sabat and outsourced the script adaptation and voice recording to Vancouver, British Columbia in Canada. This dub for Dragon Ball was recorded at Dick and Rogers Sound Studio in 1995 and aired in syndication for a short while on weekday mornings. A box set of these first 13 episodes, along with the first movie, was distributed by Lionsgate called The Saga of Goku, but this release, along with the syndicated broadcast, never quite caught on. Seeing that the incredibly popular sequel series Dragon Ball Z would have a better chance of succeeding in America, Funimation acquired the license and began producing a dub that aired in 1996. 2 seasons, spanning a total of 53 episodes, from what was originally 67 in Japan, were produced for another syndicated broadcast, as well as taking the third Dragon Ball Z feature film, The Tree of Might, and splitting it into 3 episodes to be aired as part of the run. This dub was recorded again in Vancouver, but this time was recorded at Ocean Studios, marking what fans refer to as the Ocean Dub. This dub carried over many cast members of the previous dub done for the 13 episodes of Dragon Ball, including, for example, Lalainia Lindbjerg as Bulma, Ted Cole as Yamcha, and Alec Willows as Oolong, to provide a couple examples. Saffron Henderson was moved from playing Goku to Gohan, who was around the same age. Meanwhile, Goku, who had grown up by then, was then played by Ian Corlett, who also reprised his role as Master Roshi. Ian, along with Terry Klassen, who voiced Krillin, were also both scriptwriters for the series and helped with writing the adaptation, to which many fans of the Japanese version were none too happy with, as this involved the censorship of things like characters dying and going to the afterlife. This is where stuff like The Home for Infinite Losers came from. It also included a new background music track different from the Japanese, composed by Saban co-producer Shuki Levy, who composed tons of music for shows like Power Rangers, He-Man, and Inspector Gadget. Despite complaints, the show caught on well in syndication and began to gain more and more popularity. The show really hit its stride when Cartoon Network picked up the broadcasting rights and aired it on their Toonami block during weekday afternoons. But after a while, the same 2 seasons running over and over again were getting a lot of fans anxious for more, as the series kept repeating after a cliffhanger of Goku locked in battle with the Ginyu Force. In 1997, Funimation ended their partnership with Saban, and then produced a new home release of the first 3 Dragon Ball Z movies in cooperation with Pioneer Home Entertainment, also later known as Geneon. The adaptation for these 3 movies were loved by both fans of the dub and the hardcore fans of the Japanese version, as they carried over most of the Vancouver actors from the TV show to reprise their parts the first time in an uncut production, with a more faithful script adaptation and the original background music by Shunsuke Kikuchi. Worth pointing out was that Goku's actor in Dragon Ball Z, Ian Corlett, departed from the show shortly after the Saiyan saga. Corlett left partially to pursue doing more development on original animated series such as Yvonne of the Yukon and Being Ian, but also, according to his word, the actors were not being paid for the massive amount of screaming required for the show, as they were not being counted as lines. Corlett decided to part ways from the production entirely, and he was eventually replaced by Peter Kelamis. Peter would continue to play Goku during the 3 movies.
The double Kaioken attack won't work. I guess I'll try a triple. Sorry, King Kai, but I don't see any other way.
Vegeta knows it too.
I overheard him talking about what I've always known, that there is a level beyond that of a Super Saiyan.
As the year was passing by, Funimation was finding the cost of outsourcing the voice recording on the show to Vancouver to be expensive, and after a business proposal by the DBZ fan community on the internet, Funimation decided to produce a new line of uncut home releases on DVD with a Japanese language track for the first time. Fan translator Steve Simmons was brought on to write the Japanese version subtitle track, and continues to work on the DBZ franchise to this day. Funimation also decided that, in tandem with this new release, that they would pick up on where they left off using a new voice cast comprised of actors local to their headquarters in Dallas, Texas. An open cattle call was made, and the actors who auditioned were given example recordings of the previous voices from the Ocean dub to use as a starting point in order to maintain a level of consistency. At this time, the likes of Sean Schemmel, Christopher Sabat, John Burgmeier, and Sonny Strait, to name a few examples, were cast and continue to play their characters to this day. Funimation got a full broadcast deal with Cartoon Network and recorded and aired the rest of the series on Toonami up through 2003. They later also dubbed all the original Dragon Ball series and eventually Dragon Ball GT. Meanwhile, in Canada, YTV had acquired the broadcasting rights to all 3 Dragon Ball series and began producing their own dubs for television with no home release. The Canadian dubs for Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball GT were done at Blue Water Studios using actors in Calgary. However, the Canadian dub for DBZ brought back a large majority of the original Ocean Group actors to reprise their roles again. This means that the entirety of all 3 Dragon Ball series have had 2 complete dubs, the American one with the Funimation Texas actors and the Canadian ones with Vancouver and Calgary actors. There's a couple oddities with the alternate Canadian dub for DBZ, however. All episodes from Goku's fight with the Ginyu Force up until just after Trunks defeats Frieza were never dubbed and aired in Canada. The music is composed once again by Shuki Levy, but unlike the first 2 seasons produced by Funimation, this music was recycled from the score of Monster Rancher and the Ruby Spears Mega Man cartoon. The Vancouver actors were back to voice their old characters, but the new characters from the episodes that Funimation had already dubbed by that point were being matched by the Canadian cast. So in a strange twist of fate, the originals were having to imitate their own imitators. Also, Peter Kelamis decided to part from the show in order to further pursue his stand-up comedy career, being eventually replaced by Kirby Morrow on the part of Goku. Between the young and old versions and all the different dubs from over the years, the character of Goku has been voiced in English by at least 15 different actors. Thanks for watching. This video was inspired by Did You Know Gaming, so go check out their channel and watch all their videos about gaming trivia. Special thanks to Kaiserneko for the audio mastering, TheDelRe for the music, BehindTheVoiceActors.com for the audio samples, and the folks at Kanzenshu for all the insightful DBZ information. If you like this video, go check out some of our other ones about the voices behind your favorite Nintendo characters, or maybe your favorite Blue Hedgehog. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. See you all next time on Did You Know Voice Acting Z.